What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. Hope everybody's been doing good. Hope everybody's teams have been doing well. Sort of, not really. I know my Niners took a hit this weekend, but what can you do with injuries? But we're not going to be talking NFL because I'm definitely not a sports analyst or strategist or however you want to look at it. I'm not a playmaker, okay? We're talking about a movie that it's another long-awaited sequel, I guess, depending on who you ask. After watching it, I don't think it was worth it. And if you haven't guessed already with our thumbnail and the title and all that pizzazz, we're talking about Tron Ares, starring Jared Leto, Greta Lee, Evan Peters, Gillian Anderson, and that's basically, and also Jeff Bridges for a little bit. So this is a spoiler-free review. We're not going to get super into it, so if you did happen to watch the movie, you liked it, you didn't, or if you just like tuning in with me and Bern every week, feel free to give us that like button, hit that please, and ring the bell for notifications, and of course, subscribe. It's always appreciated when you guys give your support or, whatever, voice your opinions on the films and stuff, so... so the last Tron movie was Tron Legacy, starring Garrett Hedlund, Olivia Wilde, and Jeff Bridges back in 2010 or 2011. Not 2010, because I remember that's around the time True Grit came out, and that movie was also great. So this one takes place sometime after. It's not really clear. It does pick up from that one after a while, in which, Encom and Dillinger Systems are trying to figure out how to bring, digital code from the grid into real life. So it's kind of, and Evan Peters as the Dillinger Jr., whatever his name is, he definitely is the main antagonist of this film. So, Tron is one of those movies. I really liked Tron Legacy when it came out. However, after rewatching it right before Tron Ares, maybe I've just outgrown it personally, where I'm like, yeah, this is, hate to say it, kind of boring. Like, I love the character design, nothing against the actors or anything, but I'm just like, this kind of doesn't really do much for me anymore. And Tron Ares is definitely more of the same. I just, to be honest, it was kind of boring for me. I think Jared Leto was just it was almost very uninspired, kind of almost like a more chill back version of his Blade Runner 2049 character. So it worked for Blade Runner. It doesn't work for this one, in my opinion. Also, Jodie Turner-Smith is in this one as Athena. And again, another stilted performance from her. Overall, it's got some cool visuals, great soundtrack. I do agree with a lot of the critique with this movie, in which, skip the movie, get the soundtrack, and you'll be just fine. And that's sad to say, though. But Bern, what did you think of this one? Are you kind of agreeing with me on this one, my brother, or do you also feel like this is a bit of a snooze fest?
I think I follow along the same lines with you, and that's tough to say because Tron, I guess, as a franchise now at this point, is one of those that's definitely in the line of the style over substance type of thing, where the first movie in the 80s, it was kind of cutting edge technology, but even if you go back to that one, the story and the plot itself were also kind of just like boring, I guess, to describe it the way you've been doing. But following that up, with Joseph Kosinski's Tron Legacy, that offered basically the same thing, where it's, the story itself was pretty cookie cutter. I wouldn't say it was like bad or anything, but it was definitely didn't live up to everything else outside of it in terms of the visuals, in terms of the incredible Daft Punk soundtrack that I listen to this day. It just didn't offer much more than that, and this one just follows that right up, unfortunately. It's been all these years later, there's been a huge gap in between each sequel, and you'd think at some point they would have figured out, hey, let's have an interesting story with some interesting characters, to add on to the really cool visuals. And don't get me wrong, there's some visuals in this movie that are really striking. I do love the use of the red lights that we see a lot in this movie. There's just something about that imagery that's really cool to look at. but outside of that, you got to offer me something a little bit more. And I guess they did in a way with the Nine Inch Nails score. And look, I love Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, and I love all the music that they've done. For David Fincher, working on Soul and doing things for Watchmen, and this is no different. I think this the soundtrack here truly outlived the movie in terms of like how good it was. Again, it's just one of those things. I just wish the central premises were much more interesting, especially where we left off at the end of Legacy. There's a lot of really cool ideas that we had there, and unfortunately, the movie, this one, doesn't really follow up on a lot of that, and that's pretty frustrating. I hate when Legacy sequels do that, where or sequels that come out years later from the originals, where there are interesting things that they lay the groundwork for, and they just said, no, we're kind of gonna do our own thing, and that is unfortunate. Jared Leto, he's fine, I guess. He's playing like an AI character. I think he took the method acting thing a little bit too seriously because he was like, oh, it's a robot, it has no personality. So when we're watching that character for about 2 hours, it's like, I need a little bit more from that. Greta Lee does a serviceable job. She's a really good actress. She certainly has some moments, but overall, they can't. None of the characters really are all that interesting to engage with. And again, when you have the cool visuals, when you have the cool soundtracks, when you don't have a good story and good characters to engage with, all that just kind of falls by the wayside. And it, like Ryan said, it leaves you bored by the end of it, and then that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it with my girlfriend and she liked it. She had fun with it, which is cool. So I think if you're a casual moviegoer, you'll have a lot of fun with this one. I know there's some people who are, some guys were commenting behind me like, "Oh, that's so effing cool," or "Oh my god," like they were laughing at some of the nostalgia stuff and whatnot. So again, if you really like this franchise, I think you'll be satisfied with it. But to be honest, I think I've outgrown it. While it does have great character design, great visuals, like you've said, especially with the light bikes, I thought that was really neat. Um, it's just there's really nothing else to offer. I'm definitely over Tron at this point, so that's why I'm gonna give this movie a 2 out of 5. Is it worth even IMAX? Not really. It didn't really feel like much of it was filmed in IMAX, so but that's why I saw it in just because I'm spoiled. I like treating myself to that. But yeah, I recommend it for me like a $5 Tuesday. It's very much like Jurassic World Rebirth, and I actually asked myself, which I could not stand that movie. I know we didn't do a review on it. That one would also have been a 1 or 2 out of 5 for me. It's like, which one would I rather watch? And I hate to say it, I would rather watch Jurassic World Rebirth because it's got good dinosaurs in it. So that's me though, Bern. I know if I know you didn't like that movie, but yeah, like I said, it's if you're a fan of the franchise and maybe want something fun to look at, listen to as well, go see this one. Otherwise, save your money for something else, in my opinion.
Although I may disagree, I think it does fall in the same category of those blockbuster movies that they just feel like are just kind of soulless, where they're just putting things that they think fans want on screen in terms of visuals, but not giving much in anything else other than that. And I really hate to say that, but it's unfortunate again that after all these years later, we can't have a proper Tron movie where the visuals and the story elements work in cohesive tandem to give us something interesting, and yeah, that's annoying. So it left me disappointed. So to that end, for me, this one is also going to be a 2 out of 5, just because the visuals are cool, the music is really good, and the movie does flirt with some interesting ideas here and there, sprinkled through, things with like AI, things with like the war machine, quote unquote. But yeah, it doesn't really deliver on any of those aspects, unfortunately. But I guess if you're just looking for some eye candy, things to nice, cool lights to give you some entertainment, I guess you can do worse than this, which for me would be Jurassic World. But for you guys out there, your mileage may vary. But this one's just kind of a hard one to recommend you to go out and spend a lot of money on. Like Rise said at the beginning, maybe just listen to the soundtrack.
You know what, Byrne? Like I said, you said it perfectly, and not that I recommend Jurassic World Rebirth, not that I want to go back and rewatch it in theater, but it was just one of those things that this movie just made me think, like, man, is there a better movie out, or is there a movie that's equally as whatever that I'd want to rewatch instead of this? And that's why I came to my conclusion on that one. But Yeah, it's a 2 out of 5 for both me and Berm. So for those of you who did happen to watch it, if you loved it or you hated it, please let us know what you thought about it in the comments. Would love to get your opinions on that and keep it going. But yeah, we're almost done with October, but November's got some good movies I'm looking forward to, specifically Predator Badlands and Running Man, starring Glenn Powell and Josh Brolin. So hopefully those are good as well. But until next time, everyone, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.